But on the flip side, if we know that he's folding a lot up front, and like we know that three betting is profitable at the very least from the start of the hand, we might want to flip our strategy and enter those hands into our three betting range um, until we know more about the profitability of calling those hands. So what those distinctions rely a lot on are the player types, and um, I'll just open up stove, I don't have a, even though I don't have a range here. I just want to like point out some hands. If we're playing against like someone that we have the inclination is going to be a maniac, then then we know that his pre-flop ranges are going to be too wide in every situation. Um, so what that means is that his opening range is going to be wide, and let's assume he's min raising. So we're still going to want to play like all these weak suited hands, um, but we're not going to want to three bet them because we know that he's not going to be folding enough up front for us to have like an immediately profitable three bet. Um, so since we know that they're a profitable call, these type of hands will be in our calling range. Um, on the flip side, the broadways, the like big pairs in our range, are all going to be like more profitable than normal to three bet. So as we move down, like from the very top of our range, every one of these hands over here is going to be a more attractive three betting option. Um, this changes a little bit based on if he like decides to call three bets, if he decides to four bet more often. Those things are all going to like change specifically which types of hands we three bet. But the point is that it's going to shift our three betting range into like a very value heavy range that includes a lot of these hands over here, and our calling range is all going to be like the bottom of our range. Now, it's a little bit unbalanced to be approaching pre-flop like that, but at the same time, like we should assume for the most part that that's not important because our opponent, first of all, his strategy is just like kind of bad. So we don't want to like give him a lot of credit and think that it's like devastating that we're only defending weak hands. So I don't think that that should be a big enough concern to dissuade us from just like being very exploitative. Um, Now, if we're playing against the tag reg, like the hands as we move down here, these are going to be like these will fall into the category of both profitable three bet and profitable call. Um, the issue with three betting these hands is that he's going to be like a lot of our profit is going to come from him folding. So let's say, for example, we decided to three bet, any Broadway. So we had a 14% three betting range, which is, like a reasonable percentage to three bet against a tag. But we are only three betting strong hands. And a lot of the profitability is coming from him folding, like, all the hands down here, all of these weaker hands, like, Queen 8 suited, Jack 9 offsuit. So when he's folding all those hands, by the time we get to the flop in a three bet pot, all of the weaker hands that our value comes from are no longer part of his range. So, like, the profitability post flop just isn't there. And it really wastes the value of our hands because we could profitably call an open with, Jack 10, Queen 10, Queen Jack, all these hands. And if we call opens with them, then we get like, we still have within our range the profitability of all these hands, but we get to add these additional hands into our range. Um, let's say 6-4 suited, 8-5 suited, 7-5 suited, etc. These are hands that we don't think necessarily that we can call an open with, um, but we do think that we can 3-bet because of how much profit we get from him folding to our 3-bet. So if we take these hands that we would have otherwise folded down here, and we turn them into our 3-betting range, and we take these hands that we were originally going to 3-bet up here, and just add them back into our calling range. Now we're playing a wider range of hands, all of which are being profitably played. And, like, obviously, that's going to improve the EV of our entire range.